By 22, I had everything my 18-year-old self thought he wanted. I was on the right career path, making good money, and from the outside, everything looked perfect. But on the inside, I was miserable, totally lost. It took years to figure out that my entire life was built on 5 huge lies I believed about success and happiness. This is how I found out what they were and started building a life that was actually mine. When you're 18, the world feels like a giant instruction manual that everyone has but you. Your parents, teachers, and just about everyone else hands you this blueprint for a good life, and you follow it because you're terrified of messing up. I followed that blueprint to the letter, and it led me right into a wall of deep unhappiness, anxiety, and feeling like a stranger in my own life. So today, I'm sharing the 5 biggest lies I was told and told myself about what it means to be successful and happy. My hope is that by sharing my mistakes, you can avoid some of these traps and start writing your own rulebook a lot sooner than I did. The first lie, and the one that did the most damage, was thinking success is a fixed place you arrive at. For me, that place was a fancy job title at a big name company. That was the finish line. I can still picture 18-year-old me thinking, if I can just get that job, I'll be set. I'll have made it. Then I can finally relax and be happy. So I did everything you're supposed to do. Picked the right major, gave up my weekends for internships, and networked like my life depended on it. Every choice was a calculated move toward that one single goal. My life wasn't about learning or growing, it was just a checklist. Get the grades, get the internship, get the offer. And then I got it. I landed the job. I remember sitting in my brand new, sterile cubicle, looking at the company logo on my badge, and just waiting for that wave of fulfillment to hit me, but it never came. Instead, I just felt empty. It was such a hollow victory. I'd spent years climbing this mountain only to get to the top and realize the view wasn't that great. And worse, there was another, even taller mountain right behind it. The goalpost had already moved. Now it was about the promotion, the bigger salary, the corner office. My turning point wasn't some big dramatic breakdown. It was a slow, creeping feeling on my daily commute. I was spending my life chasing a horizon that just kept moving. I was so focused on the destination that I hadn't enjoyed a single step of the journey. That's when it hit me. The blueprint was wrong. The truth I had to learn is that success isn't a place you arrive at. It's a process. It's about growing, learning, and finding some meaning in the day-to-day. It's building a life that feels like you, not just one that looks good on paper. Success is the journey itself, and I had been sprinting through it with my eyes closed. The second lie that had me in a chokehold was this insane pressure to have my entire life mapped out at 18. You're supposed to pick a college major that will decide your career for the next 40 years. It feels like you're at a crossroads and one wrong turn will lead to a lifetime of regret. The pressure can lead to what psychologists call the paradox of choice, where too many options lead to anxiety and paralysis. That fear of making the wrong choice completely paralyzed me. I'd see my friends confidently say, "I'm going to be a doctor," or "I'm going to be a lawyer," and the wave of panic would wash over me. I had no clue what I wanted to be. So what did I do? What so many of us do. I picked the safe path, the respectable, financially stable one. I chose a future based on logic, not passion, because the risk of just exploring felt way too high. This lie kept me from trying new things. I didn't take that art history class I was curious about because it wasn't on my career track. I didn't join the hiking club because I felt like I should be at the networking events. My world became so small because I was terrified of stepping off the path. The irony is, in trying so hard not to make a mistake, I made the biggest one of all. I never gave myself the space to figure out who I actually was. The turning point was meeting a mentor at my job. She was in her late 40s and had the most fascinating career. She started in marketing, went back to school for psychology, worked for a non-profit, and had just started her own consulting business. Her career wasn't a straight line, it was a winding road of exploration. She told me something I'll never forget. She said, "Your 20s aren't about having it all figured out. Therefore collecting data. You're a detective, and your only job is to figure out what you like, what you hate, and what you're good at." That conversation was a lifeline. It gave me permission to be lost. The new truth I embraced is that it's not just okay to not have it all figured out. It's necessary. Your teens and 20s are for exploring, for trying things and failing, for taking the wrong job and learning a ton from it. Your path isn't set in stone. It's a living thing that you can get to shape with every new experience. Growing up, I was a classic people pleaser. The third and maybe most sneaky lie I believed was that my value as a person was tied directly to what other people thought of me. I craved praise like a drug. My report card wasn't for me, it was for my parents' approval. My friends weren't chosen based on a real connection, they were picked to project a certain image. This lie ran my life. I wore clothes I didn't like because they were cool. I'd quiet my own opinions to be more agreeable. I vividly remember choosing my university because it was prestigious, not because it was the right fit. My life was a performance and I was constantly looking out at the audience hoping for applause. And the cost of living this way, it was huge. I had no solid sense of self. My identity was just a patchwork of everyone else's expectations. And since I was always trying to be what other people wanted, I had no idea what I wanted. It's a lonely way to live because even when you're surrounded by people, you feel invisible. They don't see you, they see the character you're playing. My turning point was a painful one. A close friendship blew up because I couldn't bring myself to set a simple boundary. I had said yes to something that made me really uncomfortable, all because I was scared of them being disappointed in me. When it all imploded, I realized the horrible irony. My people-pleasing didn't save the friendship, it destroyed it. By trying to avoid disapproval, I lost myself and the relationship anyway. It was a harsh lesson. The new truth is that your self-worth has to be an inside job. You have to be your own main source of validation. Other people's opinions change all the time. You can't build a stable life on that shaky ground. Learning to listen to your gut, stand up for yourself, and accept that not everyone is going to like you is one of the most freeing things you can ever do. Your job isn't to be liked by everyone, it's to be true to yourself. The fourth lie is a modern classic, the worship of hustle culture. The idea that to be successful, you have to work yourself into the ground. Sleep is for the weak. Burnout is a badge of honor. Your job is your life. I bought into this, hook, line, and sinker. In college and at my first job, my life felt like a contest to see who could be the most exhausted. I'd brag about pulling all-nighters. I ate lunch at my desk. I checked work emails the second I woke up and right before I fell asleep. I sacrificed friendships, hobbies, and my own health on the altar of productivity. I honestly thought my suffering was proof of my commitment. This lifestyle is not sustainable. For a while, the adrenaline and praise from my bosses kept me going, but eventually, the bill comes due. I started having massive anxiety. I was getting sick all the time. I was irritable with my family and friends, the very people I claimed to be working so hard for. I had zero identity outside of my job. If you'd asked me what I did for fun, I would have had nothing to say. The real turning point was a wake-up call from my own body. I ended up at the doctor's office thinking I had a heart problem. I was having constant chest pains and palpitations. After a bunch of tests, the doctor looked at me and said, "Physically, you're fine, but your nervous system is completely fried. You have severe burnout and you need to make a change." That's when I realized I wasn't hustling, I was hurting myself. The hard truth I had to learn is that real, sustainable success demands balance. Rest isn't a luxury. It's a critical part of high performance. Your health is your greatest asset. Your relationships give life meaning. A successful life isn't just a successful career, it's a thriving life. Winning at work by losing at life isn't winning at all. The final lie is the thread that ties all the others together. This idea that happiness is a reward you get after you achieve something. It's the "I'll be happy when" syndrome. I'll be happy when I graduate. I'll be happy when I get a job. I'll be happy when I get a promotion. I'll be happy when I'm in a relationship. I'll be happy when I lose 10 pounds. I basically spent my entire youth in a state of deferred happiness. I treated joy like a far-off destination I would one day earn the right to visit, not a place I was allowed to live in. The present was just something to get through, a stepping stone to a better future where all the happiness was waiting. I was always living for the weekend, for the vacation, for the next big thing. The problem is, with this mindset, the future you're waiting for never actually arrives. As soon as you hit one goal, your brain just sets a new when. The finish line for happiness keeps moving. It's a recipe for a life of quiet desperation, when you're always in the waiting room, not realizing the show has already started. My turning point here wasn't a single moment, but a slow shift that started as I dealt with the other lies. As I started to see success as a journey, gave myself permission to be lost, built my self-worth from the inside, and rejected hustle culture, something amazing happened. I started finding these little pockets of genuine, unearned happiness. A laugh with a friend on a Tuesday, the sun on my face during a walk, the fun of learning something new, just because. The new truth, and the most important one, is that happiness isn't a destination. It's a practice. It's found right here in the present moment, not in some imaginary future. It's about being grateful for what you have right now, even while you work for what you want. It's about building a life where you can find joy in the ordinary stuff, and not just big moments. You don't have to wait to be happy. You can choose it right here, right now. Looking back, the 18-year-old version of me was doing his best with a map he was given. He believed these lies, not because he was foolish, but because because they're the main stories our culture tells us about how to live a good life. Unlearning these 5 lies that success is a destination, that you have to have it all figured out, that your worth is external, that you have to sacrifice everything, and that happiness is something you earn later, was the hardest and most important work of my 20s. The truth is, you get to be the author of your own life. There's no single blueprint. It's going to be messy and unpredictable, and you're going to make mistakes. But it can also be an amazing story of growth, self-discovery, and real, authentic happiness. You just have to be brave enough to write it yourself. Thanks so much for watching. Now, I'm dying to hear from you. What's one lie you've had to unlearn in your own life? Drop it in the comments below. I love reading through them, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if this video hit home for you, think about subscribing for more stuff on personal growth and building a life that actually feels like your own. I'll see you in the next one.